Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Placement Talks. Today we have Mr. Prabhanshu Chauhan with us from Computer Science and Engineering Department, who will share his placement journey along with guidance to get placed in such a prestigious company in the upcoming placement season. To kickstart this session, I would like Prabhanshu sir to give a brief introduction about himself. So,
Yeah, so thank you, Purnam, for inviting me for this podcast. My name is Prabhanshu Chauhan, and I am from Uttar Pradesh, originally from Amroha, district Amroha, and I am currently in eighth semester of computer science and engineering in IIT Srinagar. So, apart from that, I am interning in NVIDIA Graphic Limited, Pune, and I have done a 6 month internship at Samsung, where I get an opportunity to join them full time. I will be joining Samsung from July, I guess. And apart from that, most of the time I used to like play badminton, and I love to hear music. And yeah, so I think that's all about me.
okay, sir. So, as many of us are also trying to get placed in these tech-based companies, so, what would a day in your life look like when you were preparing for the placement season? How a day would have started? Which resources would you have used while sharpening your skill to get placed? Can you please share those resources and your
Okay.
routine which you followed?
So it depends in which year you are, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in first year, I used to get excited for doing something new, like for getting into machine learning, getting into
Yes, sir.
JavaScript and all. So
Mm-hmm.
I never bound myself. Like I never said myself that stop doing this. I just explored myself. Like I first explored Python, then JavaScript, then went into machine learning and stuff. But then I realized that it's all like it also depend upon the basics. Like it all comes to the basics, because
Mm-hmm.
you can never like go on and on and on without clearing your fundamental concepts. So then I came back to basics and start studying C++.
Mm-hmm.
You believe that I actually learned C++ a lot of times from different ways. Like I preferred a book first, then I went through a YouTube course, then I went through a Udemy course. Uh, so there is no harm in saying that I kind of wasted my half a full semester in just learning C++ in different ways. So that's a mistake, I can say that, because when you learn something new, just to go it through once and start doing practice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and in a uh, in a single day when I was practicing like data structures and algorithms, one day I was like solving questions, and the another day I would be like in depression or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you start something you don't know like anything about it, you just go
Yes, sir.
uh, into it and kind of exploring it. If you are learning it from a source like YouTube or something, then it is easy. But hard, you cannot practice something in an easy form. You have to move from your comfortable space. Like you
Yes,
have
sir.
to do, you have to suffer to solve questions.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So you give your best and give your best when you are practicing something. Then if you don't if you are not able to solve something, or do something, then
Mm-hmm.
give it some time, a
Mm-hmm.
week or even a month, but eventually
Mm-hmm.
you will do it.
Mm-hmm. So, what were the resources which were useful
Okay,
to
yeah.
you?
About the resources, when I was learning machine learning, I preferred Andrew Nag on Coursera.
Yeah, yeah. Andrew
Actually,
Incheon.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I started with a YouTube channel. I don't remember the name, but then the person on the YouTube itself introduced Andrew Neck to me and said that he
Mm-hmm.
is best. Like he also studied from him, so I prepared to Andrew Neck and went through his courses. Then I
Mm-hmm.
practiced some basic problems from Kaggle or something. Yeah. Kaggle is
Mm-hmm.
for Kaggle is a platform for machine learning.
Machine
You
learning and
can,
data
yeah,
science.
yeah. And for like C++ and programming, I preferred a book which was in our library. I don't remember the name. It's of a foreigner, I think. Um, okay, I will tell you after some time.
No
I don't
problem.
remember the name.
Mm-hmm.
And about I went through a YouTube channel also, like Code with Harry, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very basic. Then I went through a course, Udemy course of
Mm-hmm.
Abdul Wari, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the resources for C++ I followed. Then for data structures, I followed some courses from Princeton University, I guess. Yeah, from Princeton University, there was like a course on algorithms, Introduction to
Mm-hmm.
Algorithms, Part 1 and Part 2. So I followed those courses, and also I followed Abdul Wari course. He has like three courses, one on C++,
Mm-hmm.
one on data structure, and one on algorithm. For algorithm, I think it is present on YouTube, but for data structure and C++, you have to purchase it.
Yes, sir. Udemy
So
course.
yeah, so these are the courses I followed for DSA. And other than that, it like it always comes from practice. So I
Practice.
practiced
Yes.
on, yeah, practiced on websites, on coding websites, and then like explored questions on those websites, and like see the questions concept wise from the YouTube. Like it's not like you can learn everything from a single book. So when
Mm-hmm.
I see a concept, let's say dynamic programming, so I try to solve some questions, but then I get stuck. So I went to YouTube and search like how to do this question. That's
Mm-hmm.
how you can do some things. You know, you
Yes, sir.
cannot do anything without knowing anything. So you just see a question, you can't solve it, then you go to YouTube or Google, then search it how to do
Mm-hmm.
this question. Then you get to start learn things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So regarding the current scenario, I think there are many sheets on DSA. One is I think Striver's sheet, and other is one sheet from I think Love Baba sir. There is 450
yeah.
question in that sheet. Many of the people that we are interviewing are referring to those sheets. Have you referred them?
Actually, these seats. I don't know about the other one. About the Love Bubber seat. This seat was not there at our time. And this seat
Okay.
was released when we like almost completed our DSA journey.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't think we have followed any sheet or something. I just go to the websites like LeetCode and GFG and filter questions
Mm-hmm.
and then solve it.
Okay, sir. So according to you, when is the right time to start preparing for these interviews?
There is no right time if you are comfortable with a language, with a like
Mm-hmm.
fundament. You have cleared your fundamentals with a language, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you know how to implement every single data structure from scratch in a language,
Mm-hmm.
then you are good to go. You are now good to go to start with your DSA journey. So you can go and take up some questions on
Mm-hmm.
data structures and try to solve it. When you get comfortable with data structures, then you can go and take questions or algorithms, or
Mm-hmm.
you can do it parallelly. On one side you can keep doing data structures questions, and on the other side you can start doing algorithms.
Algorithm question.
Yeah, because these topics are twisted together. They are these
Yes,
not
sir.
are like you can just stop one thing and start another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you have to do both things together.
Yes, sir. So,
Yeah.
as we all know that you have been selected in Samsung for the role of advanced developer at a CTC of 40 LPA. So,
Right.
would you like to throw some light on the selection process? How was your interview process and all?
So when Samsung came into our campus, like it was in after fourth semester, I guess. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when we were in fourth semester, Samsung came to our campus, and they were offering intern position at Samsung. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was for 2 month internship, but unfortunately no one was selected. I couldn't even do like half question at that time,
Mm-hmm.
because because at that time I was into websites, into competitive programming, like on
Mm-hmm.
courses and course app, and I
Yes, sir.
didn't even realize that DSA is something. I just thought that, yeah, okay, I just implemented every data structure from scratch in C++. Now I am good to go. I can solve questions. I
Mm-hmm.
like at that time I thought algorithms are nothing, like they can be solved at real time. You can sit and think about algorithms on your own, but that is wrong. You have to practice a lot for algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
So then Samsung, then at that time I feel very bad. I felt very bad, really bad, like I didn't get selected in Samsung. Then the next time, when we were in sixth semester, Samsung came again for internship, for a 6 month internship starting from June to December.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, at that time, Samsung took a coding test in which there were three questions, three DSA based questions. One was
Mm-hmm.
easy level, one was medium, and I think one was kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I could do only two and a half, I guess. I did the easy one, I did the hard one, but I got stuck in the medium one, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think some test case would have passed. So that's why I got selected for the interview. Then in the first interview, they mostly asked questions on DSA itself. The first question was like, can you do binary search on linked list? So these type
Mm-hmm.
of questions. Then the interview went through the hardest stuff also. Like he asked me about tries. You have heard of tries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try data structure, right? So he asked me about try, and
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Then in the second interview, the interviewer came and just said into my face that, like, what is your favorite subject? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I said it's in data structure, of course. So he said that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I know that it is data structure. That's why you are in this round, in the second round. So
Yes, sir.
I would not be asking any data structure questions. So tell me anything else. So I
Mm-hmm.
told him like, okay, let's go with operating system and DVMS this time. So
Mm-hmm.
he started with those subjects. He asked me about Unix programming,
Mm-hmm.
Unix cell, and what is a kill in Unix, what is the zombie process in Unix, and all these type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And in DBMS, he asked basic questions like about transactions, transaction rollbacks, and all.
This was the interview process for the internship.
Right. Then,
So one question from all this. So in the middle, you said that while pursuing for the internship, there was a coding test. In coding test, you were able to solve
yeah,
two
yeah,
and a
I
half
was
question.
going to, yeah, yeah.
I have a
That was
question regarding that thing. Just regarding that thing, can I?
okay, okay. Go on.
So I also did a coding test. I think there was Salesforce which came this semester. That company interviewed I think around 200 students from different colleges clubbed together. And before that interview round, they did a coding round in which I was able to solve around two and a half question. But similarly,
Okay.
in your sense, most of the I solved one question, first question and second question completely. But in
Mhm.
third question, I think I solved around 50% or 70% of the test cases. Is the
Okay.
numbering based on is the score which you get based on test cases you solve? Is there partial numbering also? Because I
It
was not aware
depends.
of that.
I think it depends on the company, like which platform they are using for taking test.
Mm-hmm.
I think Samsung took a parcel in count. That's why some people who have done like two questions wasn't selected, but like I did something more than two, so I did
Mm-hmm.
get selected. But I can't say about Salesforce interview.
Okay, sir. Okay. So you can continue with your experience.
Yeah, after the internship, there was a coding round for all interns. Like whoever was interning with Samsung have to give this coding round called software competency test. And
Mm-hmm.
in this round, there would be only one question. and you have to solve it in 3 hours. So,
Mm-hmm.
and this question is most probably from like hard question from dynamic programming or graph. So you
Yes,
have
sir.
to like think uh, and solve all the test cases because there is no partial marking in this.
Mm-hmm.
You, if you solve all the test cases, then only you are able to go to move forward. Otherwise, you are rejected on the spot. So
Mm-hmm.
I think almost mm, all of us like me there was okay, so most of us could have solved this software competency test, but yeah, after that uh, there was a chance for everyone to give an interview for advanced developer okay, so whoever cleared the software competency test was selected
Mm-hmm.
for developer role for 20
Okay, sir.
lp and 20 lp like
Uh-huh.
also, it depends upon your mentor rating because you were interning for 6 months. If your mentor says that you are not eligible to get selected,
Mm-hmm.
you you were not able to do the work as they expected, so they would reject you.
So kind of similar
Uh,
to performance review.
right. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to have a good performance review plus you have to clear the test. Then
The
you are
test, yes,
selected
sir.
for for
Advanced developer
developer
role.
role. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the developer role. Then after that, they took some students for advanced developer role,
Mm-hmm.
for the interview of advanced developer role. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends upon like they set the criteria for around 9 CGPA
Mm-hmm.
for that you must have 9 CGPA, but then they decreased it to like 8.5, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think three of us got the chance to give the interview for
Mm-hmm.
advanced developer role. Then in that interview, I don't know about others, but my interviewer mostly asked me about my projects and
Mm-hmm.
the very basics from those technologies. Like most of the project I have is on deep learning or machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he asked me a lot from deep learning. He gave me like some sample problems like sample situations like in this situation what would you do in this situation, which model will you choose or something like that, and then he asked me about the advanced mathematics behind machine learning like linear algebra and probability. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, here I think mm, uh, whatever I studied in the first year,
Mm-hmm.
like back in the first year I studied when I started with machine learning. I started with the maths behind the machine learning, so
Mm-hmm.
that thing helped me here, right? I always thought that I just wasted 1 year moving around those things like moving around mathematics behind machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
No one even see these thing in interview, like everyone just see the project and just ask you about the application level things, but no one goes into the deep things like how these things are working. But then
Mm-hmm.
in this interview he really asked me about those things. So yeah, then after after 5 to 10 minutes when the interview was done, uh, I got a mail that I was selected. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So you just mentioned that there was a interview criteria in which the pointer was set to be above 9. I
Yeah,
have a question regarding that. So what pointer will you consider be a safe pointer for being eligible in on these interviews?
I think 8.5 is more than enough, like more than sufficient, because most
Mm-hmm.
companies set their criteria up to like 7.5 or 8 CGPA,
Mm-hmm.
and like in special cases like in Samsung, they also have to reduce it to
Mm-hmm.
8.5 or something
Yes, sir.
because I think there were many there were like a few students only who would have a CGPA above 9 because someone from Bits Plani interning with us have said that they that there were no students from Bits Plani who have a CGPA above 9, like
Mm-hmm.
their academic is tough something.
Yes, sir. So also, sir, does maintaining a higher pointer help ones in
Yeah,
pursuing higher
yeah,
education?
yeah. See, try to maintain as high as you can. Okay, so you never know what opportunity you would miss if you don't have a good
Yes, sir.
CGPA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just try to maintain for on your best, like give your best. Then if it
Mm-hmm.
is above 8 or 8.5, then I would say don't take too much stress about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like less than 7.5 or something, then I would say like, yeah, focus.
Yes, sir. Got that.
On higher education, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
CP matters. It matters a lot because
Okay, sir.
someone right, because when we were like about to end our third year,
Mm-hmm.
there was an opportunity to join IIT Delhi as a PhD student, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
the criteria was uh, like 9 CGP, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
only one of us, well, I could have, but I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
pursue like higher education now. So I didn't, but someone else got the opportunity to pursue that. Yeah,
Okay, sir. So I was just going through your resume and I noticed that you have done many projects regarding Web 3.0 on the especially on the blockchain thing.
right.
So I also being a blockchain enthusiast. So can
Okay.
you please throw some light on how you did those projects and which technologies you used and how you learned those technologies? Because
Okay.
usually when I see some technologies regarding blockchain, there is no there is no benchmark guide or there is no proper
Yeah,
guide to
yeah,
learn
I
those
get it.
technologies.
Right. See, blockchain is not something you can learn on your own. Yeah, it's your
Mm-hmm.
truth. You have to have something like some mentor or something who is experienced, because blockchain is not a single concept. It is a collection of different concepts. Like you have to know about networking. You have to know about
Mm-hmm.
development, software development. You have to know
Mm-hmm.
about DSA and all. Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so uh, in my journey, I had a mentor in Samsung who guided me to develop this project, and about that guidance, he just like gave me some resources, and I went through those resources. Like first, I started with the basic of blockchain, like what is blockchain. Yeah, then
Mm-hmm.
uh, I started exploring NFTs. Have
Mm-hmm.
you heard about NFTs?
Yes, a non-fungible
Yeah,
token. I have seen your project
right.
also on that thing you have done.
Yeah. So I started with NFTs, and yeah. So do you want me to share the resources or something?
So it would be delightful if you can.
Okay. So yeah, I will share it
Okay.
because I don't remember actually too much about
No
that.
problem, no problem. I know it's a very vast field, and I
Yeah.
also tried one time to make a decentralized application. I think there was a MHL workshop on the same which I tried to follow, but there was not sufficient information on the same. They just told you to do this and do that, but they didn't give us the
Right.
background why to do something. So that's
Right.
why.
In actually in decentralization, there is a
Mm-hmm.
concept of peer-to-peer networking or
Mm-hmm.
peer-to-peer storage system. That is the
Anji.
like core of all of these. So I would say you, if you really want to go into blockchain, then you should start from exploring peer-to-peer systems,
Mm-hmm.
like how these torrent work, and yeah, you should start from that.
Okay, sir. So I've also noticed that you have been an active competitive programmer on many of platforms and you have an impressive rating on many of them. So can you share how to maintain such a good rating and how to get started with those?
Okay, I don't think I have a like good ratings on any platform because I like I try to continue practice on code forces, but then I eventually lost it. Then I tried to practice on lead code, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and there was a lot of gaps. Then I tried to practice on interview with.
Mm-hmm.
I would say one thing I keep I kept consistent was that I keep practicing. It doesn't matter which platform I was practicing on, but I just keep practicing because uh, there there came a time when I get bored from a website. Then I went to a different website. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
practiced a lot on Geek for Geeks, but then I realized that it is like now boring stuff. Then I went
Mm-hmm.
to interview it. Boring in the sense like it was not going to stop. Like it was a huge thousand questions
Yes,
like
sir.
from a single company, so it was never gonna stop. So I thought let's move on.
Yes, sir. I
So
totally
I
understand.
yeah, and also there was no time limit. I just take I used to take a question and sit like for a whole day, just and not even solving, just
Yes,
wandering
sir.
around and yeah.
I'm currently going through the same procedure. I usually take one or two question, and those one or two question takes my whole day. And after that, I realize that I have wasted a whole day and haven't solved even those two questions.
Yeah, that's the time when I came across this website called Interview Bit. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that is a good website, I would say, because they kind of score you if you solve a question, and they decrease the score if you take a lot of time.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So also regarding this CP thing, the platform which you just mentioned, Code Forces, I have tried on that platform, but whenever I solve a question,
Mhm.
first of all, it takes a lot of time, and usually their questions is not well translated in English. I don't know why, but it's very difficult to
Right,
understand the language of those questions.
right, right.
And plus, if I solve one of them and after scoring comes, they mark your question similar to someone else, even if you have done that yourself. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, actually, code courses is like you have to practice a lot, right? Mm, like there is a huge population moving toward code forces. I guess that's why these things happening.
They have I think strengthen up their policy to uh, this prevent cheating thing.
Okay,
That's
okay,
why if the concept is even same, no matter the function you use, no matter the
yeah,
things else other things you have used, if there is similarity in the code and the similarity in the concept, then it will flag you.
yeah. So for code forces, I just want to comment one thing. Like, if you want to improve your problem solving skills, and if you
Mm-hmm.
want to really go in, or if you want to really go into competitive programming, or if you want
Mm-hmm.
to improve your common sense regarding algorithms, then you
Yeah.
should choose code forces. Otherwise, if you just want to like practice DSA questions and different concepts
Mm-hmm.
on data structures, then I don't recommend you to go on code forces.
Okay, sir. Sir, recently you just mentioned that you are currently pursuing an internship at Nvidia. So can
Right.
you throw some light on that?
Actually, I just started with NVIDIA. It's around 3 weeks. No, it's
Mm-hmm.
around 2 weeks. Yeah. So uh, I was selected uh, at NVIDIA in December. No, in November. Yes, yeah. In November, NVIDIA came to our campus, and there was a coding test with some aptitude questions. So
Mm-hmm.
I was selected for the interview. Then there was an interview in which, in the coding test, the question was not too difficult. They were like medium level questions,
Mm-hmm.
and but the aptitude test was like time consuming. It wasn't a test which you can do it in like 1 hour or something. To uh, it can only be done if you get around 2 hours. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave me an opportunity for the interview. So I sat into the interview. Then the interviewer asked about like very basic things first, from
Mm-hmm.
C++, then operating system. But then he got too low level. Like he asked me about the orientation of the memory, of the
Mm-hmm.
memory, like very not basic, very fundamental. Like you would have skipped these things when you
Yes,
study
sir.
something. You would have
Mm-hmm.
skipped these things, and he asked me that a lot. So after that interview, NVIDIA selected me for a software role,
Mm-hmm.
and I am interning in software developer role, in which my most of the work is on GPU. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and Have you heard about like CUDA?
Yes, sir. I think those are AI accelerators built on NVIDIA GPUs.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so that's I am working on CUDA profiling.
Okay, sir.
Uh, yeah, in CUDA profiling team. It's nothing like CUDA is something which is used to accelerate a program on GPU, and profiler is something which is used to profile those results, like how better is CUDA performing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I did in that team.
Okay, sir. So
Anything
one
else you
more.
want to share me about NVIDIA?
Yes, sir. I was about to say one thing. If someone's want to buy a GPU, can you help him
You-
in the shortage?
आ, मैं खुद 60-50 से काम चला रहा हूँ यार. I don't think we have these types of privilege in NVIDIA. Actually, in NVIDIA
Mm-hmm.
India, I talked with some employees from Santa Clara, which is
Mm-hmm.
in USA. So
Mm-hmm.
he has those type of privileges there. He can buy GPUs using NVIDIA credits, but I
Mm-hmm.
think in India we can only buy T-shirt or something. We don't have
Things
these type of
changes at different
privileges.
places.
Yeah.
So I am mostly done with my question. If you have something else, you can also share.
Uh, First of all, I would like to thank like every junior, because after the day I was selected, everyone was like firing on me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. But yeah, it was a very nice experience. I never
Mm-hmm.
seen this much thing in my life. Uh, I was just sharing a thing. Yeah, there was a student from second year, I guess. He approached me to uh, like he approached me to have an interview or have an interview session. Jason, I guess.
Okay.
Do you know
I,
Jason?
I I think he's ITCR or CSCR in second year. I think.
Yeah, I think ITCR. uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I it was the time like when I was not too much stable, or
Mm-hmm. You might be busy at
so,
that time.
yeah, not busy actually. I was just unstable because I just got selected for my
Yes, sir.
like dream opportunity, and I was
Mm-hmm.
going through like it was I was very overwhelmed at that time,
Okay.
and he approached me for that interview. So I felt nervous, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of rejected him, but I feel bad. So just tell him that I'm sorry for that. And
No problem, sir. You can do that interview now.
oh,
You can
yeah,
take all the opportunities now. You can share your knowledge. It was a nice. I think basically we want to do this podcast just to let the batch of 2019 and
yeah,
the lower batches to be aware of the technologies which are required, to be aware of the skills which are required to be
right,
placed.
right, right. Because also at that time everyone was not just asking me like how did you do it. They were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh wow, you do it, you do it, like yeah, they were like overexcited. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so I thought no, it's not going to happen. Like I am not going such interview like in which I would be like just doing, you know, अपनी तारीफ करना अपने मुंह से, वो सब नहीं करना चाह रहा था मैं.
Yes, sir.
That's why.
So on the
Uh,
closing note, sir, I would like to ask the
yeah,
last
so
question which I have. Sir,
also
how did?
I want to
Yes, sir.
share the juniors like you just need to consistent. Many of you are doing very good. You will be eventually will be get placed in like very good companies. Even
Mm-hmm.
the companies who does not come to our campus now, but may come to our campus in future. So best of luck for that. Keep practicing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So on the last few questions, I would like to ask you that how did you manage stress while all this stuff? while preparing for the placement, while sitting at an interview? How did you manage your anxiety and stress while those times? Because
I am having anxiety right now. I
yes,
don't
sir.
know. I just go with the flow. Someone like in interview, someone ask me something. I just try to answer it without overthinking, without any overthink.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you overthink something, then you might get nervous. If you are prepared well, so there is no need to overthink.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So just
So
prepare well and do nothing like a day before interview. I would be like mostly playing games before interview because if you didn't do anything in 3 years, then you cannot do it in one day, right?
yes, sir, that's totally true, sir.
Yeah.
So on the closing note, sir, can you please like to mention some of the platforms on which juniors can contact you for tips and guidance, or can we connect with you on the LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can, if you want any guidance, you can ask me my contact number there. I will definitely provide you and will talk to you personally. I would love to know you. And on Instagram, you can like text me. You don't even need to follow or something. You just can request the message.
Okay,
Uh,
sir.
yeah, there is like not very.
Hmm.
You don't need to be very like overwhelmed for these things. You just. I shared everything. I told you
Hmm.
like I practiced on Geek for Geeks. I practiced on Lead Code. Then
Hmm.
when I get bored, I moved to interview bit, and then I practiced
Hmm.
there. And apart from that, I did projects on machine learning, uh, which I went through in second year, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, sir. So I think on this note, we would like to end this interview. I will just stop the recording. Just a minute.
Okay. Please.